they only knew the things we said before this show went live. We've got the Bengals ending minicamp. Joe Burrow talking about his football mortality. Ted Karras got a contract extension. Chris Jenkins signed his deal. We went to the Reds game. We got lots to talk about coming up right here next on Big Play Cincy.
What it is, what it do, Cincinnati. Welcome to Big Play Cincy. We are glad to have you here. Super pumped on this Thursday evening as the Reds take a win. We're signing some key pieces on the Cincinnati Bengals roster. Drew, how we feeling tonight, brother?
Feeling a lot better after the Reds got the win last night. I have this on my TV. My picture quality looks like hell. Yours looks really good. Which was the opposite of how it was going in the pre-show area. So that stinks. Don't know how to fix it. Probably just going to have to stick with it. But I'm feeling good. We got to do the tweet, get the show out, let people know we're here, all that good stuff.
Indeed.
But I'm feeling a lot better now that the Reds got a win. They didn't get swept in the 2-game series against the Guardians, as they call them now. And the other thing. I'm going to see if this helps. Cut a couple lights down.
Yeah, fix that. The game we attended was a little iffy, right? You know what I mean? So we got there. We had the bet with Fontana and Ryan up there in the city up north. Thankfully, we don't have to make a commercial. They do. We'll get into that in a bit. But they lost when we were there. So I don't know. Maybe we're a curse, and they just needed us to exit the stadium. But they definitely got the win last night, and it's good. And the home run differential hit, so that's great.
Look at this. This is family love. Kay Breezy went out to dinner with his mom tonight. He made her stay and watch the show with her. We would just like to say welcome to Kay Breezy's mom.
Yeah.
You raised a great young man, a friend of the program, a friend of ours personally. Deleted garage beers with the guy at the Cincy had event. Very, very good dude. Yeah. Mama Breezy, you done good.
Also, we apologize for what you have to bear witness to here tonight, our show. So glad you're here.
And this show, as everybody knows, this show is brought to you by Drink Garage Beer. And there's been some news in the beer world in the last couple of days. We were teased on Tuesday night about big news coming on Wednesday, and now we can crack it open and celebrate. I'm going to get close to the mic. You know, they say you're not supposed to show alcohol on YouTube. Didn't know that, but sorry about it.
Don't care.
There's been big news in the beer world.
It's so good.
Specifically the garage beer world. There was a tweet that came out. Brotherly business. Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce are now the largest investors in this delicious small batch brewed light beer right here. So they have they're the biggest investors of the beer that I've been best friends with for like 2 years now, maybe less. I don't know. And is a proud sponsor of our show. So I think technically we're like the off-brand New Heights show now.
Yeah, that's Do we work for them? Is that a thing? Are they our boss? I don't know, but
they're not our boss, but they would be the best boss ever.
Yeah, they would. That would be super cool. Yeah, definitely. We've got our show, obviously, provided to you guys by Garage Beer, and then they went out and just hook, line, and sinker a juggernaut in Travis and Jason and New Heights. So that's unbelievable. We're super pumped for Garage Beer here on Big Play Cincy, man.
It was kind of the internet trenches for me a little bit. I've been representing Garage Beer for quite some time now before we had the show, just because it's really good beer and they keep sending me cool pictures of me drinking their beer and stuff like that.
True.
Hook me up with merch, all that. But I was in the trenches a little bit because there was a big, now you like Travis Kelce. Now I'm like, listen. I've never hated on Travis Kelce. Yeah. I don't hate Travis Kelce. I like Travis Kelce. I hate the Chiefs. Yeah. I hate 95% of the Chiefs fans. I've never had any beef with Travis Kelce. A lot of people are mad at him because he told the mayor of Cincinnati to shut up. but
I
the
did.
mayor of Cincinnati probably should have shut up in that
I told him to
situation
shut
because I
up.
was never good with that.
Mhm.
So you got two mega stars. I just want to point out I've been drinking garage beer since before Taylor Swift's boyfriend got involved.
Yeah.
All right. It's
Yep.
like listening to a band before they get popular.
Mhm.
So I was drinking garage beer before Taylor Swift's boyfriend got involved. But hey, no harm, no foul. Very, very good news for garage beer. I think this means it's going to expand.
Yeah.
You can't get it in Nebraska right now, per our friend Ben Schramm. Sure, that's going to change. They're working on distribution. They're working on getting it to more people, and that's good because it is truly a delicious, delicious beer.
Yeah, it's great, and anybody who cracks it open and tastes it, you'll tend to agree. The lime is our special here. We love the lime on the show, but the traditional garage beer is also quite delicious. And Travis, party boy, Jason Kelsey, dude. So I cannot think of a better pair. Yeah,
just guys being dudes.
Yeah, I can't
just
think
guys
of a,
being dudes. That's all it is.
I can't think of a better pair outside of you and me to represent garage beer other than those guys. A couple Cincinnati guys too, so that's cool. That's really cool.
I've been told that I look like an off-brand Jason Kelsey before, so it's kind of right. So we're looking forward to all the things that are to come with garage beer. Likely means pretty much nothing to us personally at this point, but it's cool for the brand because it's a brand that I truly do believe in. I like it. It's my primary beer. And like you said, we drink the lime a lot because it's just summertime. It's refreshing. It's beautiful. But those white cans, they're just as good.
They'll get you.
So we're excited to see that. Oh, okay. Here we go.
What?
The family love is just growing. Breezy got Mama Breezy to try her first garage beer lime tonight during the show. Her words, it's actually pretty good stuff. We would not steer you wrong, Mama Breezy. We would never.
No, absolutely not. We are not lying.
Does this look like a face that would lie to you?
Absolutely, maybe a little bit, but we are not.
I used to be a used car salesman.
That does not surprise me. We are not lying when we say it's a good beer. Yes, they sponsor the show. Yes, they help us get things done, but it's really easy to show them love when the beer is actually good. I've drank some beer that I've had to look people in the eye and say, yeah, that's pretty good. And then gulp it down afterwards really quickly. No, you don't have to do that with garage beer. It's good beer.
Nick Fott asked when the Gold's tops hit the stores. I don't know. What color is the top on your beer?
I got silver.
Silver? I'm rocking the silver top too.
Yeah.
I don't know when
Is Gold Top going to be lime? I don't know if I know that.
Gold Top is going to be all
of it. Okay, I couldn't remember if it was white can only, but that's good.
We should have seen this coming for garage beer because they got the gold Twitter check.
Yeah,
they said they were going to put the gold tops on. There was some new money involved. It makes sense now. My wife commented and said, "If you guys hear a kid in the background, not sorry."
Family show.
It'd be like that. My daughter, she goes hard in the paint. She gets it from her dad. We're very, very, very excited for what's to come with garage beer. We're going to tell you about it. We're going to drink it. I'm going to be at tailgates with it. It's just the way that things are going to go.
Yeah.
And we can't wait. And I just cut half of Ron's face off because I clicked the wrong button. We're back. So that's that. Bunch of people said I'm fake because I like a beer that Travis Kelsey's involved in. And the fact of the matter is, I don't give a shit. I think the guy's cool. Jason Kelsey, I think, maybe actually be the cooler Kelsey brother.
They're both awesome.
They're awesome dudes.
Yeah, this is my humble brag, but I've deleted beers with them in college regularly for 2 years. They probably have no idea who I am now. I know I've talked to them here and there, but Jason more than Travis. They're great people. People hate them because they're on these different football teams. Dude, they're cool people.
I can see it. It's oh, I remember you, dude. You were that guy that was just in the corner hammered. Yeah, that was me.
No, it was amicable and fun. Okay, I've got stories that I can't tell because they're famous now, and I don't want to embarrass them. So, boom, that's my claim to fame.
Talk to you after the show. Tony Taphorn says we got breaking news.
What?
Cam Collier hit a piss missile at the Dragons game.
Let's go.
Little Reds minor league action updates from Tony in the chat. We appreciate the hell out of Tony. Now, we have what I would call a Big J coming on the show, big time journalist. Sometimes I think that the credentialed media, they don't like guys like us because we get access to stuff, and they don't like that because we're idiots on the internet. And I get it. I always say, for the people that don't like me, I completely understand. Yeah. But this guy either likes us or is very, very good at pretending to like us. Ball knower, root beer float aficionado, Mo Eggert from ESPN 1530.
There he is.
Mo, how are you feeling?
Oh man, did you insinuate that I'm a journalist? Let's start with that. Was
Big J journalist is what I call it. Yeah.
We're introducing me as a journalist. Every journalist in your audience, any journalist in your orbit, any journalist in my orbit should be deeply offended by that association, because I'm a lot of things.
Okay.
I don't know that I'm a journalist, but thank you nonetheless.
You are a more put together professional version of us. I don't know though. Actually, you're one of the guys. So there's a lot of guys out there, and you're one of the crew, man. Drew, you made me big. There we go.
Yeah. I'm trying to get professional here.
See, how we doing tonight, Mo? Thanks for coming on, man.
Oh, couldn't be better. What's going on, guys?
Not much.
Mo, have you had garage beer yet? I don't know if you have a beer deal, so if you can't say anything, just shake your head no.
I've had garage beer. I do have a beer deal.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say.
All right.
He's linked up.
Fair enough.
I know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I've seen.
I'm not a journalist, so I didn't do my research.
All right, that's quite all right.
Yeah, absolutely. So hey, Bo, Reds baseball. We got the win yesterday. First night, I think it was more entertaining, the fact that I was making myself sick eating a hot dog an inning versus the product on the field. However, they turned it around when we left Great American Ballpark and won half the Ohio Cup there.
Yeah, so the way the Ohio Cup works, it's best out of 4. So that's great. So we have to wait. It's like the ultimate cliffhanger. We have to wait till September to find out how the Ohio Cup concludes. I felt like that game last night was kind of big because, you're going to have 2-game, 3-game losing streaks. When you're trying to make up the ground the Reds are trying to make up, you can't win 7 in a row and then give back most of that winning streak. And, you don't want to put too much emphasis on a series in June, but this is a chance this weekend to put a dent in that lead the Brewers have, really ahead of everybody, but ahead of Cincinnati. And so it feels like if they can get 2 out of 3 this weekend, 6 would feel better than 7, right? Like going there 7 back just feels like, you're slightly closer than being 8 back. And so that game to me felt big last night. And now you get Hunter Green going, and that Milwaukee pitching staff is, I called it a house of cards the other day on the air. They deserve a lot of credit for where they are. But, boy, if you can beat Peralta tomorrow, you've got a chance to make a dent against Milwaukee, and it's an even bigger dent because they won last night.
Yeah, Milwaukee gave them fits last year. I just remember the Reds were doing so good. They had that great month of June last year, 12-game winning streak, Ellie hits for the cycle. All the vibes were up, and then they got to the Brewers, and they just couldn't get around them. Do you think they're going to have a little bit more success this time around?
They have a better pitching staff this year than they did last season. I think it's not far-fetched to suggest that when the season plays out, look, Milwaukee's going to be hard to catch, but I think we may look at both teams and say the Reds had the better starting pitching. Now, you wouldn't have said that last year. They had Corbin Burns. They had Woodruff, who got hurt during spring training. They have had Wade Miley go on the injured list. They've used 11 starting pitchers this year, and I think 28 pitchers overall. And so if the Reds are better against Milwaukee, they're going to be able to expose that. You talk about last season, what the Reds did in June. And I think one of the biggest what-ifs of the entire season for me is this. They called up Ellie De La Cruz on June 6th. They called up Andrew Abbott, I think, June 4th. They called both of those guys up after they had just lost 3 at home to the Milwaukee Brewers. If you remember, Andrew Abbott made his first start in the fourth game of a 4-game series against Milwaukee on a Monday night. And I've always wondered, like, had they called up the good players when the Brewers came here in late May, early June, whatever it was, would they have caught the Brewers and won the division? No. Would they have made the playoffs? Well, they finished 2 games out. So, like, I've always thought, like, can we talk about what would have happened had they called some of those dudes up earlier than they did? And I always remember that series against Milwaukee just kind of hovering over the rest of the month of June because they lost 3 straight. What if those guys that they ultimately called up, like Elly De La Cruz, what if they called some of those guys up earlier?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I just, it's different this year. And some of our comments, I don't know. He can't see the comments, right?
I love comments. Those are.
But we've got like.
And if there's something I can't get enough of, it's comments.
Throw up Alex Gatto's comment right there, Drew, if you can. Milwaukee, Cleveland, next one down. After that one, we've got the Reds pitching versus Milwaukee won't be the issue. They need to average 6 runs a game this series. So I'm a big. Let's get consistency going, right? Mm-hmm. Pitching. Let's play good defense, and let's get the bats hot, man. I like hot bats. I like nukes. I like base hits. I mean, if we can just dominate offensively and keep, crushing the bases, right? Then how are they going to stop us?
We want piss missiles.
Yeah. So I like a good piss missile. They're not a good offensive team. I mean, just call it what it is. There's nobody who right now is having a very good offensive season. So they're going to need offensive help around the trade deadline. And that's going to be the case even if some of these guys start hitting more. And I expect they will. They have had a little bit of an uptick in offensive output here over the last 3-4 weeks. They, at one point they were the worst team in baseball across the board offensively. That was never going to be the case over the course of the entire season, but they need offensive help, right now, because we don't know if Matt McClain's going to come back. A huge amount of uncertainty with CES. So to me, really the central question to the next 5 weeks, 6 weeks is, can the starting pitching continue to hold up well enough to get the team to the trade deadline and keep them in it? And then if they're in it, does the front office go get a bat? And that's not to say you couldn't use another bullpen arm. Everybody could use another bullpen arm. That's not to say that you couldn't use another starting pitcher, especially if when they call Graham Ashcraft up, he continues to not perform to the level that everybody would hope. But they need a bat. They need offensive help in the worst way. Now, between now and then, what has to happen? Some dudes just have to hit better. Elly De La Cruz has to hit better. Jonathan India has to hit. Will Benson. I mean, I hate making it about any one guy, but the reality is, as much as we have made fun of, some of the dudes they've had, get a lot of ABs, Mike Ford and Nick Martini, there are a lot of guys they were expecting more from this season. Those guys have to perform better, and they have to perform more consistently.
Yeah, 100%.
Big Mike Ford program, because he was built a lot like myself, playing Major League Baseball, and I like that. They've been the updates that I've heard, like when they put McClain out there, like we hope to get him back. That felt very not good. That felt like he's probably not going to play. And it's almost getting to be the same thing with CES. Like just the reports and the wording that have come out are either looking for the Twitter check or they're not good.
There's a difference between hope and expect. I hope Jennifer Aniston walks down my basement steps. I don't expect her to. There's a difference, right? So
yes.
I'm always a little skeptical when you hear they hope he's back in August. Okay, well, first of all, August has 31 days. There's a big difference between he's back August 1st and he's back on August 31st, right? So I look for the word expect. If I see the word, like we expect Joe Burrow to play week 1, right?
Yep. Yes.
That's our expectation. Obviously, we hope for it too, but the expectation based on what we know is week 1, he's going to play. Could some stuff happen between now and then? Of course. But right now it feels like nobody's hoping for week 1. Everybody's expecting it. And the good news is week 1 isn't, right now. So he still has some time to get to where he needs to be, but we expect it. With Matt McClain, it's, they hope to have him in August. Okay. So let's not expect him to. Like to me, something that you're hoping for is something I'm not expecting. So I'm just operating under the assumption they're going to have to play the entire season without Matt McClain. I'm operating right now under the assumption they're going to have to play the entire season or the rest of the season without Christian Encarnacion-Strand. And so last year, the solutions to what kind of plagued the Reds in August, in April and May of last year, they came from within, right? They got rid of Will Myers, et cetera. And then there was this steady stream of guys who came up. McClain, Noelve Marte, who is going to come back here in a couple of weeks. CES, Ellie. Well, aside from Noelve Marte, my expectation is whatever help the Reds get that's not on the team right now ain't going to be from dudes on the injured list, and it's not going to be from Louisville. It's going to have to be from another club.
So when you say that, do you expect, because a lot of times they're not, do you expect all the Reds to be any kind of a buyer at the trade deadline?
I do. Now, I've gone shopping before, and I've come home with nothing, which is actually my favorite kind of shopping, come to think of it. My wife never does that. But I've gone shopping, and I come back with not what I originally went to go get. So I do expect the Reds to go shopping because they got and deserved criticism for how they handled last year. Last year, the strategy was they knew that their starting pitching was a major deficiency. They thought they were going to bolster it with a healthy Hunter Green and a healthy Nick Lodolo. That didn't happen. So there's two things about that. One, I'd like to think they learned the lesson from the folly of hoping that hurt guy coming back is going to be the best sort of trade deadline acquisition. Number two, I don't think there's anybody like that in the offing, right? Like, again, if Matt McClain comes back, that feels like a bonus. If Christian Encarnacion-Strand plays this year, I mean, look at his numbers before he got hurt. You're counting on him to turn your offense around. So first of all, I don't think there's a direct comparison to the place they were in last year when they weren't that aggressive and where they are right now. Also, maybe this shouldn't matter. I think the Reds have done a lot of really good things over the last 2.5 years. I do think they are acutely aware of the criticism they got for not being that aggressive. And I think if they could do it all over again, I asked this often last summer. I go, okay, if they make a trade, you mean they're totally going to screw up their future? Like, look at the trades that were made. They cost a guy or two guys, right? Well, if trading one or two players is going to derail your future plans suck. So I think they are acutely aware of the criticism they got. And I think if they could go back and do it all over again, they would say, let's go back and address our biggest weakness, which was starting pitching. This year, the biggest weakness is offense. And so I sort of feel like, and look, we're in mid-June. So there are a lot of teams trying to figure out what they're going to be, right? Like the Reds are trying to figure out what they're going to be. So there are a lot of teams who, if you ask them right now, are you going to buy, you're going to sell? They're like, well, let's see where we are around, the end of July. But I think there's going to be a larger pool of bats that are available because of sheer mathematics, right? I mean, there's more position players, more hitters out there. So I think they're going to be aggressive. Now, does that mean all in? Does that mean spend irresponsibly? Does that mean do something unreasonable when they don't have a realistic chance of making the postseason? No, I don't think any of those things are true. I think Nick Krall has made some pretty shrewd moves. And I do think perhaps operating with a bit of a mandate to be more aggressive from his bosses and with the ability to sort through, I think, some decent options offensively. I do expect them to be buyers. Now, again, they might not buy the piece they need, or the piece they want may cost them more than they would be willing to spend. I think the really interesting part of this discussion is who truly are the untouchables and who are the guys that they would like to hang on to, but they would understand, you know what, if we want to make a move, we've got to give up something. I think sometimes when it comes to the trade deadline, we make the discussion a little bit too narrow. It's always framed as contending team trades for veteran guy from a bad team, and he's got an expiring contract. Well, two contending teams can trade with each other. You could trade for players that you keep beyond 2024, right? I mean, say what you want about the dude. They acquired Trevor Bauer for 2019, and they got him for another year. People have talked about Luis Robert of the Chicago White Sox. What's interesting about him is years of team control. Same for Jazz Chisholm of the Miami Marlins. So you don't have to go get a rental. Like, you could acquire a guy. I always make the comparison to Matt Latos. When the Reds traded for Matt Latos 12 years ago, he was, I think, in his third big league season. So you were acquiring a guy who had pitched in some big games, had a lot of upside, but you controlled for years, and he would pitch for you for years. You can go get those guys. And so I'm always more interested in, are those sort of players available, and are they available from contending teams? And you go, okay, you need this, we need that. We're both trying to get the same thing. Let's make each other better. I think the trade deadline sort of we talk about it in very narrow terms. And if you start to look at it more broadly, and I think front offices should do this, and I'm going to guess that Nick Krall is going to do this, I think there tends to be a few more possibilities out there than maybe we originally think.
I want to congratulate you and thank you for the first extremely educated baseball conversation in the history of this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was educated?
Yeah,
I just far more educated than us.
We drag our knuckles, drink our beers, and yell piss missile on this show. So what you just gave us there was absolutely wonderful.
Wow.
Honestly though, everything you're saying, like the trade deadline, I mean, it's always scary for me, right? You're looking at players that contribute to your team, and you've said it best. Sometimes you need to have the thought in your head that guy could go somewhere else, and you could fill a need with somebody else that will contribute in a spot that you truly, 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 truly need help in. I mean, you lose fan favorites, right? You lose Castellanos, you know what I mean? You lose Winker, you lose these guys. They move on, but so does life, and hopefully this team going forward. Lots of Reds baseball talk. I do, before we move on, because I want to get some Bengals from you. I talked with you a little bit about this gentleman who's not on the team, but he was on the field the other night. So a little perplexing. He was out there. He was running. He seems like an athlete. He was able to do a back tuck. Yeah. He had a shocking end to that back tuck, however. Give us your thoughts on the field runner, Mo.
Well, look, I'm not going to pretend that when it happened and it finally unfolded the way it did, that I didn't laugh. I mean, yes. Right. I had never seen a guy get tased before. So I had taken my daughter to the game on Saturday, and I just kept thinking, like, what if she and I were at the game that night? And I would have to explain, like, what happened. Like, okay, Daddy, who was that? And why did they do that to him? And what's being tased? So I'm really grateful that didn't happen on Saturday.
Yeah.
Look, I have a lot of funny things been said and a lot of funny things been out there on the internet, without question, without question. And I'm glad that this was something largely benign. I think this kid's an idiot, but I was an idiot when I was 19 years old. I don't think he should be permanently barred for life from the ballpark. None of that. But unfortunately, the day and age we're in is just so, I hate to use the word dangerous, but it just feels like a lot of places and a lot of things that we assumed were safe, maybe when we were growing up or, 10, 15 years ago, don't seem safe anymore. And so I guess I had two thoughts specifically about this incident. One is, whenever somebody runs on the field in this day and age, I am waiting for something really bad to happen. And that is a very unfortunate byproduct of how many places has somebody walked into and done something awful, movie theaters and churches and grocery stores and schools and synagogues. I mean, just places that you think people are going to be safe. And so I take those things a little bit more serious than some. And look, I'm not paranoid. I'm not living my life in fear, but like I said this on my show yesterday, like you walk around and you see people like muttering to themselves and they just look deranged. And, you know, it was like back in the day, you paid no attention. And now it's like, okay, you know, like what's going on here. Right. And so unfortunately we just live in a different world. And so because of that, for me, I always assume like guy who's run out onto the field, maybe I don't assume they have a weapon, but it's in the back of my mind. Like, okay, this could be just a drunk kid running out onto the field whose actions are largely innocuous, but you know, we feel that way about a lot of loons who go into Targets and grocery stores and places like that and shoot. The other thing is, unfortunately, look, I am as pro gambling as anybody you'll ever talk to. But as he runs toward Tyler Freeman, the guy who had 2 incredible catches in the first inning, I'm thinking, great, this guy's pissed off at Tyler Freeman. Either because he grabbed the 2 balls off the wall in the first inning and he's a big Reds fan, or maybe that's going to cost him his wager. And I read a piece the other day, and again, I am as pro-legalized gambling as anybody. But I do read the stories about athletes who are like, yeah, you know, like the one pitcher for, I think it was the Royals, talked about how like, yeah, guy followed me home once. It feels like there's a little bit more of that, right? The people sliding into athletes' DMs because they blew up their parlay and stuff like that. Totally unhinged people. And so I watched him go right at the Tyler Freeman, and I'm like, what's he going to do to Tyler Freeman? Did Tyler Freeman screw up his Dinger Tuesday bet? Like, and again, fortunately, this idiot was doing nothing more than just being a clown. Fine. But we're going to have something happen one day, and the ending's not going to be funny. And I hate to say that, but doesn't it just feel inevitable? And I want to be wrong about that in the worst way. But there's going to be a time where moron runs onto the field, everybody's cheering, everybody's laughing, and then something terrible happens. And then it's not going to be funny. And I hate that that's my big sort of macro takeaway, but it is.
No,
that gave me a whole new perspective on it, because maybe this just shows how dumb and much of an idiot I am, because I was instantly like, this is awesome.
Sure.
With my phone up. But,
I get it.
But you're right.
Yeah. No, I live and breathe and work in the anti-terror world outside of being a demi on the internet. So that's what I do. So yeah, it's always in the back of your head. Luckily, like you said, this ended up just being a guy looking for some legendary clout. We're giving it to him. That front. But you can't. You really obviously we joke about it, and I've been tweeting about it and making videos because he was entertaining. What he did was entertaining. So, but we don't condone you jumping down on the field and running down on the field, because you think about that. Like, what if a guy runs on the Paycor Stadium field and slide tackles Joe Burrow's leg and hurts his knee, right? Like, it's just like, it's scary to think someone can get on the field and do wrong. And
Monica Seles got stabbed during a tennis match.
Somebody put that in our comments. You're absolutely right. Yep.
30 years ago. And you know, again, the security detail and the police officers working at the ballpark, first of all, those guys did their jobs on Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
And they are well prepared for any set of circumstances. But, you know, almost 20 years ago, Greg Gall, the dude who ran on the field and took the football from Brett Favre.
Yeah.
What I remember in the aftermath of that was hearing the players talk about, like, and this is 20 years ago, armed players in football gear were like, for a second, I was scared, because you unfortunately, you don't know, man. And so when I was a teenager, my buddy and I, we were in a car, buddies of mine and I, we were in a car, and we, for some reason, had these Halloween masks, and 2 of us go into a gas station just to get something to drink. And we thought it'd be funny to wear our Halloween masks. And about 3 minutes later, the police showed up, and we did not get arrested, but we got a severe talking to. And it didn't occur to me as an idiotic teenager that like, oh yeah, that's what people who rob grocery stores do. That's what people who rob banks do. And so the person behind the counter was, probably scared out of their mind. And so like, all right, as a dumb kid, I did something really stupid. Well, now if I'm in a UDF or something and I were to see somebody come in with a mask, like, see ya, like, out of here. And I'm thinking something really bad is going to happen. And so I do think just the older you get, because you just learn stuff. Like, again, that dude trespassed. Typically when people are trespassing, they're doing so to do something wrong. And again, that kid had, by all accounts, no ill intent, and he's become an internet celebrity and fine. But as that was unfolding, boy, there was a part of me going, okay, how's this going to end? Exactly. And how's it going to end for Tyler Freeman?
Yep, 100%. Well, hey, some people don't grow out of it, as our not resident, right? Mr. Balder of Kansas City funded his Chiefs.
Oh, is that the Chiefsaholic guy?
Yeah, Chiefsaholic. Funded his Chiefs games wearing a Halloween mask and forcibly removing money from institutions. So
I talked to that guy.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was a criminal.
I shook his hand once, dude.
I talked to him in person. Yeah.
Yes. So it's ridiculous.
He's robbing banks 2 weeks later. He probably robbed a bank to get to Cincinnati when I met him.
Exactly.
But I just have one more question on the subject, and we can move on.
Yeah, sure.
I called the guy a streaker. I was called an idiot, and just people just dragging me because they're saying because he was clothed, he is not a streaker. You're a professional, big-time journalist, radio expert. Do you have to be naked to be a streaker, or is just running on the field enough to be called a streaker?
So I will admit that when I saw that, I saw somebody tweet, might have been you, like streaker on the field. I'm like, was clothes on? Like, So when the movie Old School, he goes, let's go streaking.
Yeah.
Not let's go running. Let's go streaking.
Bring your green hat.
The streaking part implied that Will Ferrell's character Frank the Tank was going to be, naked. So when I hear streaker, like if I said to you, there's some really good looking women streaking down your street, you wouldn't think, oh, they're running. You think, oh, naked chicks. So maybe that's not the best.
I would say I'm married and I'm closing my blinds.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Oh,
all right,
my God.
So we got that covered. Will Ferrell's the authority on streaking. That's the kind of stuff you can expect to learn here on Big Play Cincy. Now, we do have some Bengals news here. One of the first ones to come up today was the extension of center Ted Karras, guy behind the Cincy hat, somebody who I consider a friend. He actually checked in with me on some personal life stuff, which I thought was really cool. Awesome guy. Right up yours, Tennessee. Great on mic'd ups. Great in the locker room. I personally like the fact that they've extended him. He's essentially got a 2-year deal now, averaging about $6.6 million a year, I think. As I think maybe they try to work on Matt Lee to maybe eventually be the replacement. And Teddy said today that he wants to retire there. So how do you feel about the Ted Karras news?
Well, first of all, Ted Karras, I haven't seen anybody who plays a non-skill position who has become a fan favorite so organically like Ted has. It's really been cool to watch him wrap his arms around the city and the fan base. And that's been really neat. And that's a huge credit to him. Just seems like the kind of guy you would want to keep around for at least a year, right? He's still playing at a pretty good level. Obviously, they may have his long-term replacement in Matt Lee, and there's other things that can happen at the position. But I think most of us have watched him play since he got to Cincinnati and have at least thought, well, they can continue this through 2025. And everything the Bengals, I think, are about culturally, everything that locker room is about culturally. And look, this is going to be like an off season and a season to a degree of upheaval. A guy like Ted Karras keeps things consistent, keeps things calm. I don't know if that's the right word, but it just seems like the sort of guy that you want to be one of those constants when some other stuff is going to change, and he's still a good player. So yeah, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, he's earned the contract, and it gives the young guy Matt time to develop behind him. But Teddy's play has been great, and the way you put him in the light of kind of being the glue that can kind of hold that portion of the team together, right? He's a veteran player. He's an adult. He's mature. He's got a family. He's about working hard, getting the job done, and then having a little fun afterwards. So, I mean, he's the perfect guy for this team's current situation with some of the scary stuff that's happened with, contracts with wide receivers, contracts coming up around the corner. So you need those mature building blocks with leadership capability on the team that are able to help keep everything together, right? Because you've got Joe Burrow. He's a leader on the team, absolutely. But, hey, he's still young. Joe Burrow's a young guy, right? You need the veteran eyeballs and the veteran mindset in the locker room to keep this together. And, hell, he plays center. He's good at center, good at football. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's, just invariably going to be some turnover on the offensive line as well. And so who better to do that around than an anchor like Ted Karras?
Absolutely.
I don't know how you could have any negative opinion of what they did today. And they got a contract extension done with a player who didn't ask for a trade. So that was, I guess, kind of refreshing.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And Ted is also really, really good actually with the fan base. So I went to a draft event at Midwest Best Barbecue, no free ads, sorry, for the second round of the draft. And he showed up, they were selling these hats. He showed up and he was just a dude hanging out, talking to people. He wasn't big time in anybody. And then obviously the Cincy hat tattoo event goes down. We kind of cost him a lot of money and he didn't punch us for it. So very, very, very nice dude. We're glad to see him stick around Cincinnati here for the next couple of years at least, and maybe more. We'll see where he is after that. And then they also got a deal done with Michigan man Chris Jenkins, second round pick, defensive tackle, got his contract signed today. I get accused of being very, very biased when I talk about how excited I am for Chris Jenkins because I am a Michigan fan. So yeah. The replies have. So I say that my dream scenario is a big game where the Bengals win and DJ Turner forces a fumble, Dax Hill gets a pick, and Brad Robbins pins a team inside the one. People think I'm biased. I don't know why.
Wow.
Outside, I know you don't have the maize and blue goggles on. So are you excited about Chris Jenkins? Because we really need a run stuffer to replace what we lost out of DJ Reader.
Yeah, I think that's I couldn't have put it any better myself. But first of all, every time a rookie signs, there is a part of me as a talk radio guy that misses the era of, the rookie holdouts, because pre-current CBA, we had them all the time. And so every summer you could talk about a rookie who hadn't signed his contract and when are they going to come in and what's the agent saying. And now it's all so boring. They sign all the guys, they come to camp. There's no holdouts. And so there's not as much controversy, which doesn't help our show. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the key questions to the entire season, right? They weren't very good on the interior of the defensive line. DJ Reader, who was terrific, is no longer here. And so have they added enough to be better on the interior of the defensive line, both stopping the run, where they're going to have to slow down Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb and name, whichever running back or Lamar Jackson, whoever they're going to have to try to stop on the ground, and generate something up the middle with a pass rush that on the inside was severely lacking last year. And then, Chris Jenkins on top of the nuts and bolts of what he can add to the defense. You talk about somebody who just feels like the city's going to fall in love with, right? I mean, just an effervescent personality, somebody who seems to be really excited to be here, really excited about the opportunity to play at this level, and just has the sort of personality that it feels like people are going to gravitate toward. And look, the personality of this team is changing. If you go back and look at the 2021 team, there's not that many dudes, left over. And so Chris Jenkins, to me, feels like one of those guys that could sort of be a part of the next personality of the Bengals. But more mechanically speaking, they've got to be better. They got gashed on the ground last year, and their pass rush up the middle was almost non-existent. It's one of the major questions to the entire season. Can you be better at an area where you weren't that good when you lost your best guy? if Chris Jenkins is as good as we hope, along with, Sheldon Rankins and the other things they've done there, if those guys are as good as we hope, then maybe the answer could be yes. But it is a big, big question as training camp gets closer.
I think they're going to be great when it comes to that 3 technique, that interior pass rush that I think they have missed since the 2021 year with Larry Ogunjobi. Yeah. I think Sheldon Rankins is going to fill that and be great. They're relying on a rookie to be the main run stuffer. I like BJ Hill in a more of a rotational role than I do maybe as my full-time starter. So yeah, they're counting a lot on Jenkins to come in and be the guy this year. And luckily he was damn good at it in college.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No, okay, we both breathed in at the same time. This is exasperating.
Like we had something really important to say.
No, but I'll say, getting your rookies on paper is always exciting, right? We've drafted them. They're here. The social media team throws stuff out. It's fun, but you forget that they have to sign the dotted line still. So anytime you get them on paper and they're actually here, they're on the team, and they're good to go, that's a good thing. So go ahead.
No question. But again, selfishly, my second full year on the air was the Andre Smith holdout, which just was this treasure trove of controversy with Andre Smith. And it was on Hard Knocks that year, so we kind of had the chance to watch his agent and Katie negotiate with each other. As a talk radio host, I miss the days of like annually there was always one guy holding out.
Yeah. I can fill a half hour with that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I think J.J. McCarthy might be holding out in Minnesota. I think they said he wants all his signing bonus up front.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, good luck.
Have fun with that. I think
national champions can do that.
You're stupid. Wasn't it like a lot of money up front too? It's a big number, and it said the Vikings had never done that before. But I don't know.
I don't know the number. It's pretty big, but not a Vikings.
Not show. A Vikings show. Look at that. Yeah, great minds.
Let's go to the big news. The Joe Burrow news. I don't want to keep you here all night. You're a man with a family and things to do, so we can try to get you out of here after this. But Burrow did do that presser, and he talked a little bit about his football mortality. That is something that was a little bit different. The quote here on the screen: whenever the injuries start to stack up, your football mortality kind of comes into the back of your mind. So that's definitely something I've thought about and something I've had to fight through. As a fan, that scares me a little bit because I'm saying, are we looking at a Andrew Luck situation? Andrew Luck said similar things before hanging it up. Now, I don't think we're there. I don't think that's Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow's a warrior and mentally strong and everything. But the fact that he acknowledged it is something that I think maybe is a good thing. And maybe that's my orange and black goggles on, because maybe he is going to listen to his body more and not try to play through stuff as much.
I loved it because to me it was, he is moving into the next phase of his career. Structurally, he's moving into the next phase of his career with a new offensive coordinator. He's moving into the next phase of his career with some newer teammates. He's moving into the next phase of his career where, the expectations are as high as they've ever been, but, they kind of as a franchise failed last year. And so, things are a little bit different, but he also is moving into a phase in his career where he now has the benefit of experience. And a huge part of his experience is, there have been some times where I've had my foot on the gas and maybe I shouldn't have. And look, there have been freaky things that have happened to him as well. But, who knows how the beginning of last year unfolds if when Joe is feeling a little tightness in that calf goes, you know what, I'm not going today. And I just took it as that. I just took it as, here's a guy that understands, number one, his importance to the team. And number two, like, you only get so many cracks at this. As great as he is, and as great as we think he's going to be, and for as long as he may play, man, you don't know. And so you have to prioritize taking care of yourself. You've got to prioritize taking care of your body. The team needs to prioritize taking care of him. A lot of people said last summer, well, geez, someone needs to tell Joe Burrow no. Sure. But if Joe Burrow is the one telling him no, that's best. And so I took that as he is cognizant of, number one, his importance to the team. And just, I think understanding, like, take an L in July, right? Take an L in July. We need you. We need you for 17 of them and hopefully more, right? I mean, his health is of utmost importance to this franchise, to this city, and he's only going to be able to, live up to his potential, which I'm sure he wants to if he's available on the field in the games that count. And so if that means, even in a game, as much as none of us want to see him come off the field, even in a game, if it's, hey man, I got this issue, let's get it fixed. Let's put the other dude in there. Jake Browning played fine last season, but I took it as a guy that understands he's kind of moving into the next phase of his career, and he's benefiting from the experience that has involved, injury and seasons being derailed because of it. So good for him.
Yeah, I really like the way you put it, him moving into the next phase of his career, right? Because, as a young player, Joe Burrow has given us everything we could have asked for him. Everything. Yeah, we didn't win that Super Bowl, right? But a big game like that is a team sport, is a team event. You know what I mean? You got to put a whole game together with the entire team. So he's done everything he can. And I look at him saying this as him maturing. You know what I mean? The player evolves, the mindset evolves. I'm not 23 anymore. You know what I mean? I've got to look out for my body. I've got to make sure everything's okay. Because personally, I would rather drop a game to Kansas City week 3 than in the AFC Championship game because Joe Burrow's too sore to go out there and be 100%.
Yeah, and also he's moving into this phase of his career where he just on an annual basis is going to be making so much more money. He is the single most important investment in Cincinnati sports, in the history of Cincinnati sports. And so I took that as he understands his obligation as that investment to do everything he can to be available. The investment doesn't get paid off if he's not on the field and if he's not healthy and if he's not available. And so he's got a responsibility to do everything he can to ensure that he is available and healthy and capable of playing every conceivable game.
Think about the t-shirt vendors outside of the stadium, Joe. They need that place packed.
Yes.
The guy
he's also bulked up. He's also bulked up too,
Yeah.
which I think is a good sign. He's going to be able to take more contact. I know he said he had said he didn't go into too much detail on it, but he talked about learning to fall differently. So maybe he doesn't fall directly on the wrist. So I think it's a good thing. I think it can be frame scary. There's all the clickbait, like Joe Burrow hints at retirement. I'm like, all right, you need your $40 from Twitter this month. But I think that it's largely a good thing because even when the calf happened last year, it's a hot day. I think it was in July or maybe August. I don't know exactly when it was. It was a hot day. He had a calf sleeve on, so something maybe didn't feel right. And he could have just been like, that's it. That's why today, the last day of mini camp, before they get their break, he didn't go and nobody was concerned. I think the only time people were concerned was when there was some miscommunication. Everybody's like, holy shit, why is Zach Taylor talking to the media after practice unscheduled? What's happening? That was me. I was terrified the entire day. I was worried.
Me too.
I found out today he didn't practice. I'm like, okay, good. See you in September. I don't care. It's take rest days. Lyle Collins didn't practice the whole year he was here, and he started to be pretty damn good before he blew his knee out. So, I think all things are good. I think that we've had you on here for quite some time. We definitely appreciate it. That was, like I said, the most educated baseball talk we've ever had on the show. We appreciate you taking some time out of your night for us.
Bar is pretty low.
No, but see, that's the thing. You're dealing with us, and you're up there. You're the bar. This is good for you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You get paid to talk into a microphone. That's what I want to do.
No, you don't. Trust me. I always tell people radio's a lot more fun when it's a hobby. So trust me. But I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So you can find him on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, at Mo Egger. Luckily you can't see his likes anymore because he said he's been getting pretty wild. But you can follow him at Mo EGGER. Listen to him on ESPN Radio in Cincinnati. iHeartRadio is where you guys are also.
iHeartRadio. We're on the iHeartRadio app everywhere for free. Doesn't cost anything. We're not charging subscriptions, at least not yet.
Yeah, just wait.
You never know. We appreciate the hell out of you, Mo. Have a great night, and I look forward to interacting with you more on the internet. Maybe see you at a Reds game coming soon. I'm going to do something that's going to upset some Reds fans, but I can't talk about it.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I can't wait to find out what that is. Thanks for having me, guys. I'll see you.
Yeah, buddy.
Have a good one, man.
Are you going to run on the field?
No, I will not be running on the field. I told you what it was. I told you what it was.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
I'm not intentionally trying to piss people off. I'm just going with what I believe.
Oh, it just clicked. Yes, love it. Yeah.
Hey, look at this. Look at this. My wife says, "Bye, Mo. Thanks for making the boys look DUMBR." She didn't even know how to spell. Now who looks dumb? Sleep on the couch. Oh, she deleted it and brought it back.
My
corrected.
God.
Yeah, I caught it. Oh man. Smart guy. Been listening to Mo
dude,
a
everybody
long time. Great Twitter follow. Love to have a conversation.
Yeah.
That was great baseball talk.
Unbelievable. Everybody we bring on the show is just absolutely awesome to have on here and bring some great insight, especially a guy like him, dude. He could run
a big league setup at his house too.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, he could run circles around both of us when it comes to baseball, probably football too. The dude's awesome, and I'm glad he was on. What else? What else did we have tonight? I mean, we talked Garage Beer's just ascension into I don't even like the stratosphere of beerdom.
You know what was funny? I said on Twitter, we're going to the moon. Yeah. And some Ravens burner that always says dumb shit under my tweets was like, with a question mark? And Garage Beer's like, yeah, he's coming with us. And I was like,
really?
Damn right I am. Yeah.
Yes, they kick ass.
So they helped me combat a Ravens burner. That's how you know it's a beer for the people.
That's a win. That's a win. We hit Reds. Yeah, man. We hit football. We hit everything. Did you have anything else you wanted to cover tonight, man?
Will we become Swifties now that you're partnered with Travis Kelce?
Absolutely.
Saying that we're partnered with Travis Kelce maybe is a little bit
wild.
He may look at the books and be like, these guys now they're done. I don't know.
Yeah, they have. Jason at least has acknowledged us. So
that's
we
true.
Know
he knows we exist.
Let me rephrase that. We were on the radar, but it could be boop, and we're gone. Who knows? So.
Garage Beer are Bengals fans big? The Garage Beer loves the Bengals.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Fro with a good comment. There's talk of an FC Cincinnati women's team coming to Cincinnati. I think the owners of FC Cincinnati are ready to put some money in and get in the game down there. 100%. I think that could be really, really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I know there was it's there, right? It's just bringing it into the league. So that would absolutely kick ass because the only women's sport I watch right now is Caitlin Clark basketball. Yes, I refer to the WNBA as Caitlin Clark Basketball League.
You're part of the problem.
Did you see me getting lit up again today? My God. Oh,
dude, you've been taking some bullets lately. Normally it's me. I took some bullets because I made the mistake of being a Bengals fan and tweeted about Joe Burrow, and that just irrationally upsets the Kansas City burner accounts. They get so upset that I like the quarterback of my team.
I know. God forbid. Yeah, you should be dragging him. Unbelievable.
But yeah, it's you're in the WNBA paint. I got in the WNBA paint a couple weeks ago, and there was just wild accusations about me being made, and people deciding they knew everything about me and my character off of one tweet.
These ladies are mean, dude. They're bullies. I some of them I read and I'm like, what? Why'd you say that about me? I'm trying to just watch the basketball game. I'm not. I won't say that, but I'm.
That's the fun part. That's the fun part about Twitter, man. Yes, it's dude. I say hey man, Joe Burrow's good at football, and people are like, why don't you go run into a knife?
Yeah,
and die?
wow.
And I'm like, whoa.
Caitlin Clark, that's a great three she shot right there. Yeah, well, I'm gonna kill your whole family while you sleep. It's like guys, can we please, for the love of God, relax?
But that's the way these internet streets go, and I love them to death. You know why? Because we have a lot of fun. I've met a lot of really cool people that I consider my friends that I can go hang out with at tailgates or events or here in our chat, and that's cool. And the people that wish me to not be alive anymore are just going to have to deal with it, because I'm going to keep tweeting shit, and that's just the way the game goes, baby. I think we're about done. Shout out Garage Beer. Also, real quick, before we do go, I would like to shout out Tipico.
Yes.
Because we went out to Great American Ballpark Tuesday night. I had two things on my mind: winning money on Tipico and the Reds beating the Guardians. Now, what happened was I lost all of that money. The Reds lost to the Guardians, but I got 5% cash back on my wagers, so I'm able to get back in the game. I have a feeling I'm going to cook up this weekend. And if you would like to, you can jump in with us using code Natty150. There's links all over our social media platforms where you can sign up. Get up to 5% cash back on your wagers with Tipico. I'm going to, as the kids say, get my lick back this weekend as the Reds play baseball. And I did get my 5% cash back, so it wasn't all bad. So we're going to see exactly what I can cook up. I just have a feeling, you feel it deep in your soul, that I'm going to have a good weekend on the old sports book this weekend. Yeah. And I think that that's exactly what's going to happen. So we always have that to look forward to. Shout out to Tipico. Shout out to Garage Beer. Shout out to everybody that watched this show. We love you. We love you so, so much. And with that, I give you this.
Oh my. Somebody screen grab it. That's the next t-shirt. I don't have a medal. I don't have a medal on me, but that was a great ad read. I'm just gonna put that on you right there.
Someone say I'm a pro.
You're professional. Yeah. I got nothing left. Hooday.
Go Reds. Go FCC. Go future women's FCC. And put Caitlin Clark in the damn Olympics. That's all I got. We're out of here. We love you all so much. We'll see you next week.